focus is to make you clear that paramita or perfection is not to accumulate. Usually we often think that we have to accumulate the parami so that when it is full, we can become a Buddha. So the way of thinking it as accumulation is a wrong. I think that is a wrong way of thinking, and it may lead us to the wrong path. And we need to think about it in the opposite way, that paramita is not to accumulate, but to let go. To let go until sunnata, emptiness. Nothing left, even atta, even ourselves. That is why I selected this topic, the 10 perfections of Dasa Parami. Please come to the next. Okay. So the term paramita, parami or paramita, commonly translated as perfection, it has two etymologies. The first derived from the word parama, meaning highest, most distant, and hence primary or most excellent. Hence it can be rendered excellent or perfection. So paramita is from parama, and parama is perfect or perfection. A more widely reported etymology divides paramita into para and mita, with para means beyond, or the further bank, the shore or boundary, and mita meaning that which has arrived, or ita meaning that which goes. So paramita then means that which has gone beyond, that which goes beyond or transcendent. So two meanings, perfection or transcendent. So in Tao Pi, in the Chinese, Tao to the other shore, to the Tao Pian, yes, to the other shore, yes. Come to arriving to the other shore, Tao Pian, yes. So in the established Theravada tradition, the paramis are not regarded as a discipline peculiar to candidates for Buddhahood alone. Because sometimes we say that, I do not aspire to the Buddhahood, so I don't practice parami. So it is not peculiar to the candidates for Buddhahood alone, but as practices which must be fulfilled by all aspirants to enlightenment and deliverance, whether as Buddhas, Pacceka Buddhas, or disciples, Savaka Buddhas. What distinguishes the Supreme Bodhisattva from aspirants in the other two vehicles is the degree to which the paramis must be cultivated and the length of time they must be pursued. So two factors, the degree and the length of time. But the qualities themselves are universal requisites for deliverance, which all must fulfill to at least a minimal degree to merit the fruits of the liberating path. So when we say that paramita means transcendent action, we mean it in the sense that actions or attitudes are performed in a non-ego-centric manner. Transcendental does not refer to some external reality, but rather to the way in which we conduct our lives and perceive the world, either in an ego-centric or a non-ego-centric way. The 6 or the 10 paramitas are concerned with the effort to step out of the ego-centric mentality. So that is, you see, sometimes we think that, this shore, we are still in this shore, and the other shore, maybe you think it's like a locality, outside locality. It is not outside. It is internal. It is the attitude. We do the same bit, but different attitude. So the attitude If it is egocentric, it is not paramita. If no egocentric, it is paramita. So attitude is very different, very important here. Not only the action, but the attitude, the manner. And so the perfections usually are defined as wholesome qualities and virtues to be developed, or wholesome actions to be performed, with the sole purpose of gaining enlightenment in order to escape from suffering and the cycle of birth and death. Paramis are wholesome acts that should be performed with no association with negative mental factors such as craving, tanha, conceit, mana, and wrong view, ditthi. Instead, they should be associated with positive mental qualities such as wisdom, panya, and compassion, karuna. Only those qualities that are developed with the sole purpose of gaining enlightenment are considered to be perfections. As such, the same qualities, if developed with the intention of gaining worldly benefits, either in this life or future lives, are not considered to be perfections, as they result in maintaining and prolonging the cycle of birth and death. The perfection needs to be developed and perfected over an incalculable number of birth cycles in order for an aspirant to attain the final goal of becoming a Buddha. So you see, when we make dana, if we make dana with the wish that, oh, now I'm so poor, so I will make offering so that in the next life I will not be poor anymore and I will be rich. It is not parami, because it aimed at the worldly benefit. So the 10 perfections are giving, dana, morality, sila, renunciation, nekkhamma, wisdom, panya, energy, virya, patience or forbearance, khanti, truthfulness, saccā, resolve or resolution, atithana, loving kindness, metta, and equanimity, upekkha. So, because there are 10 paramis, so that is why we need to listen and think carefully about each of the paramitas so that we can understand properly and apply in our daily life. Like many of the lists, the paramis are both a set of qualities to work all at once and a sequence that moves from foundational practices to more advanced and liberating ones. It begins, as the Buddha often taught, with giving, dana, ethics or morality, sila, and renunciation, nekkhamma. These foundational disciplines set us on the path and create the conditions for inner transformation. So you see that on the list usually start with these dana and sila. These are very important and foundational. So first is the perfection in giving, dana parami. Dana is selfless giving to others for their welfare with nothing expected in return. When one cultivates giving dana as a perfection, one does not consider the qualities of the recipient or what one would receive as worldly material benefits in this life or in future lives. The only motive in giving will be to practice renunciation and letting go in order to purify the mind and attain the final liberation, nibbana. In Buddhism, an act of giving has been compared to fighting a war, as various enemies such as selfishness, greed, attachment, and other mental defilements will fight very hard to defeat and sabotage it. One should reflect on the acts of charity performed by Buddha Gautama during the previous existences as a bodhisattva over a period of 4 incalculable and 100,000 worship cycles. Those acts of charity included not only his property, wife and their children, and his body parts, but also his own life itself. As we cultivate the heart of generosity, compassion, and joy, we let go of obsession with individual gain and the mindset of scarcity. The Buddha said, "If sentient beings only knew, as I do, the fruit of giving and sharing, they would not eat without first giving, and the state of stinginess would not occupy their minds." It is from Iti Buddhaka, 26. Now we go to the next perfection in morality, Sila Parami. Morality can be described as avoidance of unskillful or unwholesome actions and engagement in skillful or wholesome actions. In Buddhist teachings, unwholesome actions are physical, verbal, or mental actions based upon the negative mental qualities of greed, hatred, and delusion, resulting in harmful consequences to oneself, to others, or to both. Wholesome actions are those based upon the positive mental qualities of generosity, loving kindness, and wisdom, with beneficial consequences to oneself, to others, or to both. This is the definition of wholesome and unwholesome from the Tipitaka. For the lay community, the minimum code of morality expected of them is what is known as Panchasila, or 5 precepts, though they can also observe higher sets of precepts such as the 8 or the 10 precepts. For each of the 5 precepts, there are 2 aspects of avoidance, varita, and positive performance, charita. For example, with regard to the first precept, the avoidance is abstain from killing living beings, while the positive action is to develop loving kindness, compassion, and goodwill for all living beings. So you see that usually people only are limited on the first category, only varita, avoidance, but not develop to the positive. So in the parami, we must develop to the charita, the positive performance. So we not only do not kill, but also want to help, to support. When developing morality as a profession, it should be done with no expectation of any worldly benefit, either in this life or in future lives, but with the sole intention of eradicating the mental defilements and attaining enlightenment. Morality should not be considered as the only means to gain enlightenment, but as the basic foundation upon which concentration and wisdom could be developed. So only sila is not enough. Some people, they say, okay, I just practice sila. But it is not only the only means, it is only the foundation. In the Buddhist spiritual path of the Noble Eightfold Path towards Nibbana, consisted of the 3 stages of morality, sila, concentration, samadhi, and wisdom, panya. Morality is considered to be the basic foundation upon which the other 2 aspects of concentration and wisdom can be developed. Thus, without proper morality, right concentration cannot be developed, and without right concentration, wisdom cannot be developed. So you cannot say that I only practice meditation, I don't need to keep the precepts. Because if we don't keep precepts, our mind will be impure and will be unsettled and very difficult to get samadhi. The practice of morality is oriented toward creating safety for ourselves and others in the spiritual community, as well as a deep purification for our own heart. The precepts are not commandments. You know, in the Christianity, they have the 10 commandments. It is commandments, but in Buddhism, it is not. They are not commandments, but practices to investigate in our own ever-changing lives and relationships. As we engage with them over time, our actions come more into line with our deep values. We start to be free from regret and shame. And we become the people that others trust and value. We come to the third one, perfection in renunciation, Nekkhamma Parami. Renunciation is letting go of the mental and the physical factors that keep us bound to suffering and continued existence in the cycle of birth and death. It is the first of the three right intentions, Samma Saccā. The second factor of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right intention of renunciation is to work towards letting go of craving and attachment to objects that will bring only temporary pleasures, as the objects of craving and attachment are impermanent in nature. The temporary experiences of pleasure create the urge to seek even more pleasures and to try in vain to possess and protect those experiences. True ignorance of the true characteristics of all physical and mental phenomena, such as impermanence, anicca, suffering, dukkha, and not-self, anatta, we develop the desire and craving for sense pleasures received through the five sense organs of the eye, ear, nose, tongue, and the body. Craving also develops for other factors such as personal and worldly perceptions, relationship and status, etc., which will eventually bring about suffering. But you know that people, usually the worldly people, they don't know this, that will eventually bring about suffering. They only think about the temporary pleasure. That is why they spend so much time and energy to seek for the more and more sensual pleasure. When a lay person leaves the domestic life permanently and becomes a monastic, it is much easier to work towards one's salvation. Although renunciation can be practiced to some extent by remaining as a lay disciple, through an understanding of the suffering caused by craving for sensual pleasures, one can gradually try to reduce the desire, craving, and attachment to sensual pleasures while remaining a lay practitioner. Lay disciples can also practice higher sets of precepts, such as the 8 precepts, regularly or on special days, such as the full moon days, away from home, which is also a form of renunciation. So I hope that in the future, when the training center has been established, so you will come and jump and stay in the Vihara, and keep the 8 precepts the whole day and whole night. So it is to practice renunciation easier, huh? Yes. In order to practice the path of liberation properly, and even to practice meditation formally or informally, one has to let go of several factors, such as one's time, other engagements, comfort, family, social interactions, fame, etc. While practicing the perfection of renunciation, one also has to let go of one's emotions, identifications, and preoccupations. And the ultimate renunciation would be to let go of the false concept of a self, enabling one to enter the supramundane path through stream anti-sotapanna. So you see that sometimes we have to sacrifice if you want to practice. So you see, sometimes you have to sacrifice the comfort, right? There are social interaction. No more wedding parties, like that. Less traveling, so that you have more time to practice, right? Now the next one is perfection in wisdom, Panya Parami. The Pali word panya is translated as wisdom, understanding, insight, or discernment. It does not refer to wisdom in general about the worldly affairs, but to an understanding of the true characteristics of all physical and mental phenomena, such as impermanence, suffering, and not-self. Wisdom also refers to an understanding of the Four Noble Truths. According to the Buddhist literature, wisdom can occur at three levels. Wisdom gained by listening to others or reading scriptures, it is called Suttamaya Panya. Wisdom gained by personal intellectual analysis, it is Chittamaya Panya. And wisdom or penetrating insight gained by direct experience through meditation, Bhavanamaya Panya. Wisdom gained by listening to others and reading and discussing scriptures leads to personal and intellectual analysis. Wisdom gained through personal analysis is necessary to attain wisdom through meditation. Wisdom gained by personal experiential insight through meditation into the true characteristics of natural phenomena is the true wisdom that needs to be developed in order to transcend on suffering and attain Nibbana. There are certain factors which can promote the development of wisdom, such as a good birth. A good birth means like we were born in the human brain, in a Buddhist country, near the temples, etc. Or past good deeds, or good physical and mental health, good knowledge of the Buddhist doctrine, having an inquiring mind, association with wise people, and not associated with unwise people. The fifth is perfection in effort, Viditadhamma. In the Buddhist literature, effort has also been mentioned as energy, persistence, exertion, diligence, perseverance, and vigor. The Buddha considered effort to be such an important factor in one's progress and success in the spiritual journey that it has been mentioned at least 9 times while describing the 37 requisites of enlightenment, Bodhipakkhiya. So, first, effort as the 4 types of effort, Sammapatthana, efforts at one of the 4 bases of mental power, Itthipada, effort as one of the 5 spiritual faculties, Panchindriya, effort as one of the 5 spiritual powers, Panchabala, effort as one of the 7 factors of enlightenment, Saccā, and effort as right effort, Sammavayama, in the Noble Eightfold Path. And 4 types of right effort has been described by the Buddha as practices of enlightenment. One is effort to prevent the development of unwholesome mental states that have not arisen. That 2 is the effort to abandon the unwholesome mental states that have arisen. Effort to cultivate the unarisen wholesome mental states, and effort to maintain the wholesome mental states that have arisen. And we need to know the unwholesome mental states that have not yet arisen include the 5 mental hindrances of sensual desire, kamacchanda, ill will, vyapada, sloth and torpor, tinamita, restlessness and remorse, uddhacca, kukucca, and skeptical doubt, vicikicca. Efforts should be applied to abandon thoughts of sensual desire, kama sankappa, hatred, vyapada sankappa, and cruelty, vihimsa sankappa, that have already arisen. You see that these 3 kinds of miccha sankappa, kama, vyapada, and vihimsa, if we don't have the viriya, the effort, it may arise very frequently in our life. You see, for example, only during our lunch. If we don't practice mindfulness, so the karma or Vijayāpada will arise easily, right? If the food is not good, we want dosa, one kind of dosa, disliking. And if the food is good, then liking. So it is so easy for the karma and Vijayāpada arise in our daily life. So in applying effort to develop one's spiritual development, it needs to be maintained from the beginning till the final liberation, and depending on the stage of a particular task. So there are 3 types of effort. Because from the time we make an aspiration to get enlightenment, it takes a long time. So the effort must also be divided into 3 times accordingly. First, effort required to begin a particular action, Arama. The second is effort required to sustain an action in spite of obstacles, Nikkama Thatu Viriya. And the third is effort required to continue till the completion of the action, Parakama Thatu Viriya. In order to succeed in one's spiritual journey and attain enlightenment, one needs to apply the right level of effort. Too much effort or too little effort could both hinder the path to enlightenment. In the Sona Sutta of the Anguttara Nikaya, when Venerable Sona was just about to give up the monastic life, as he did not succeed in his meditation practice due to the excess effort that he applied, the Buddha approached him to offer appropriate advice. Using the simile of the lute, the musical instrument that Sona had been skilled in playing before becoming a Buddhist monk, the Buddha got him to agree that when the strings of the lute are too tight or too loose, it will not produce the right sound. Similarly, the Buddha advised him that in meditation, too much effort will lead to restlessness, uttacha, while too little effort will lead to sloth and torpor, tina mita, both of which are mental hindrances affecting the meditation process. The sixth is the perfection in tolerance, Khanti Parami. In Buddhist literature, tolerance or Khanti has been described as patience, endurance, forbearance, and forgiveness. While practicing the perfection of tolerance, one should be able to endure immense hardships and suffering that one experiences in life, including those experienced during meditation, such as heat, cold, noise, bodily discomfort, aches, and pains. Unless one is able to endure the various discomforts and distractions during meditation, one will not be able to develop concentration, samadhi. And without properly developed concentration, it is not possible to go on to develop penetrating insight into the true characteristics of phenomena or wisdom. Through tolerance, one should also try to endure any discomfort, pain, and suffering caused by others through their speech, behavior, mistakes, and shortcomings without reacting to them with resentment, anger, and hatred. In the Saccā Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, the Buddha described tolerance of difficulties that are likely to arise from within as well as from external sources. Through wise reflection, Yoniso Manasikara, one should try to tolerate painful, sharp, and piercing bodily pains. One should also endure other conditions such as cold, heat, hunger, thirst, the touch of flies and mosquitoes, wind, sun, and ill-spoken, and unwelcome words from others around. The fermentation that are likely to arise if those conditions are not tolerated would not arise if they are tolerated with wise reflection. In the Kakaptupama Sutta, the simile of the saw of the Majjhima Nikaya, the Buddha stated that even if bandits brutally sever limb from limb with a two-handled saw, he who entertained hate in his heart on that account would not be one who carried out my teaching. Even in such a situation, the Buddha expected one who practices the perfection of tolerance to remain unaffected and sympathetic with no evil words and with a mind of goodwill with no inner hate. You remember that the simile of the saw, even if they can use the saw to cut out your limb from this limb to that limb. But you should not, if you get angry, then you are not practicing the Buddha's teaching. It's so difficult. Tolerance as a perfection should be practiced through compassion for other beings, while not expecting any worldly gains either in this life or future life, but with the sole intention of eliminating the mental defilements and gaining enlightenment to escape from suffering and the cycle of birth and death. You see that I continue reminding again and again that we practice not to get any gains, but only to abandon, eliminating. And the next one is perfection in the truthfulness. Yes, it should be a number. It should be I forgot to put the number here. Perfection in truthfulness with the intention of attaining enlightenment includes the three aspects of not telling lies, speaking the truth for the benefit of oneself and others, and maintaining the virtue of honesty by keeping one's promises. When one develops truthfulness as a perfection, it is important that one is honest not only to others but to oneself as well. The fourth of the five precepts, Panchasila, is to abstain from telling lies, which has both a negative aspect, Paritta, and a positive aspect, Charita. Why the negative aspect is to abstain from telling lies? The positive aspect is to develop the habit of true speech. The root cause of false speech can be any of the three unwholesome roots of greed, lobha, hatred, dosa, and delusion, moha, either separately or in combination. So, when those unwholesome factors are gradually removed, it would naturally result in true speech. True speech is also one of the four aspects of right speech, samma vaca, the third factor of the Noble Eightfold Path. You see, sometimes we tell lies because of hatred, because of fear, or because of greed. When people sell things, they will tell lies that, oh, my price is already high and I cannot sell you as a lower price, but it is not the truth. Usually they tell lies in doing business. You do that, right? False speech is a powerful unwholesome action. And as the Buddha has stated, one who is not ashamed to tell lies is capable of breaking any of the other precepts of morality. Truthfulness has a strong positive influence in observing the other precepts of morality. It is said that an aspirant to become the Buddha, Bodhisattva, is likely to break the other four precepts from time to time during the incalculable period of developing the perfections, but that the precept of not telling lies would not be broken even once. When one maintains truthfulness and honesty, other wholesome qualities are also likely to be developed within oneself. Likewise, when the virtue of truthfulness is not maintained, other unwholesome qualities are also likely to develop within an individual. Cultivating and maintaining the virtue of truthfulness is not easy and leads to negative consequences such as making enemies and even a threat to one's life. So, to cultivate the perfection of truthfulness, one needs courage, determination, and energy. Reflecting on the negative consequences of telling lies and benefits of speaking the truth and maintaining honesty are helpful factors in the development and maintenance of truthfulness. Contemplating on those who cultivated the perfection of truthfulness, even at the cost of one's life, such as Gautama Buddha and other great disciples of the Buddha, will also help one to cultivate the perfection of truthfulness. The eighth is perfection in resolution, Atithana Parami. The Pali word Atithana has been variously translated as firm decision, solemn resolution, firm determination, vow, and strong will to carry out the necessary wholesome activities that one has decided to do with the sole intention of attaining enlightenment. A firm determination is necessary to carry out a task until completion, even in day-to-day worldly affairs. Without such a resolution, one is likely to give up a task in the face of any distraction or obstacle, while those with a firm resolution are able to accomplish the most difficult task in life. With regard to the 10 perfections that are to be completed in order to attain enlightenment, a firm determination is essential to accomplish the other 9 perfections as well. With a firm determination, a Buddhist disciple is able to identify and eradicate the fetters that are obstacles to one's path and continue with one's practice until one attains enlightenment and escape from suffering and the cycle of birth and death. The firm determination that the ascetic Gautama made before sitting down to meditate under the Bodhi tree in Bodh Gaya, India, on the night of the full moon day in the month of May in the 6th century BC, is an example on those who resolve to attain enlightenment. He said, "Though only my skin, sinews, and bone may remain, and my blood and flesh may dry up and wither away, yet will I never move from this seat until I have attained full enlightenment." During his meditation, countless disturbing thoughts appeared in his mind to distract and disturb his meditation, but his continued meditation with more resolve and determination and became a perfectly enlightened one, Samma Sambuddha, through the realization of the Four Noble Truths. A Buddhist disciple resolving to begin the long journey towards enlightenment should reflect on the weakness of those without a firm resolution to practice leading to negative consequences. One should also reflect on the advantages of having a firm resolution and those great personalities who have succeeded in reaching final enlightenment with firm resolution. Without a firm resolution, a disciple will find it difficult to observe even the 5 precepts of morality properly. You see, even to keep the 5 precepts, you need also a strong determination. So it could be advisable for one to start the practice with a task such as observing the 5 precepts for a predetermined period with a firm resolution, and one that is accompanied, one could gradually increase the complexity of the task to be accomplished. For example, you try 1 day, or 1 week, or 1 month to keep the 5 precepts unbrokenly, and then you can continue to increase. No? Without a firm resolution, the chances of giving up the necessary practice towards enlightenment can be extremely high. While one with a firm resolution will ultimately succeed overcoming the greatest difficulties or obstacles. The ninth is the perfection in loving kindness, metta parami. In Pali language, the word metta means friend. Here it becomes metta, meaning benevolence, friendliness, goodwill, or loving kindness. Though it has the word loving, it is not love based on affection, craving, and attachment. Its primary aim is to develop altruistic love for all living beings, irrespective of who they are. Well-developed loving kindness can be the perfect antidote to negative feelings like resentment, anger, ill will, and hatred. When practicing loving kindness, a word of caution is needed, as love and affection based on craving and attachment can very often appear as loving kindness to the practitioner unless one is alert enough to recognize their differences and not be deceived by them. You see, sometimes the love between the teacher and the disciples can also be some kinds of attachment and not a metta, if we are not wisely alert. When one is practicing the perfection in loving kindness, unconditional, that you see the word, the meaning, unconditional. Sometimes the teacher likes the student with this condition, oh, she is very obedient, she is very helpful, she is very smart. And if someone is not smart, is not helpful, is not obedient, then you don't like. So that is why unconditional love and kindness should be sent to all beings, whether they are friendly, unfriendly, or neutral, with nothing expected in return, and with the sole intention of working towards enlightenment. One may find it much more difficult to send unconditional loving kindness to unfriendly people or to one's enemies. Here, it may be helpful to develop the perfection of tolerance first, before attempting to transfer the loving kindness to them. First is Khanti Parami and then Metta Parami. Understanding the fact that other beings also don't like to experience suffering, pain, and unhappiness, but like to experience happiness like oneself, is a helpful attitude in practicing loving kindness. When one practices loving kindness, it is not enough to express it mentally during the practice of loving kindness meditation. It should also be expressed in one's verbal and physical actions with others. And we come to the last perfection in equanimity, Upekkha Parami. The Pali word Upekkha means impartiality or equanimity. In the Buddhist literature, another Pali word for equanimity is Tatramaccakata, meaning being in the middle. One of the 19 universal beautiful mental factors, Sopanasatharana Cetasika, mentioned in the Buddha's higher teaching, Abhidhamma. While practicing the perfection of equanimity, one remains impartial and unaffected by one's experiences, not developing desire and craving for friendly people and pleasurable experiences, or dislike and aversion for unfriendly people and unpleasant experiences. Equanimity is said to be the most difficult quality to develop among the 10 perfections. But once developed, one is able to remain unmoved by the 8 vicissitudes of life, namely gain and loss, disrepute and fame, blame and praise, pleasure and pain. With well-developed equanimity, one will not react with craving and attachment to gain, fame, praise, and pleasure, or with repulsion and aversion to loss, disrepute, blame, and pain. Equanimity is also one of the 4 sublime states, Ariya Vihara, one of the 7 factors of enlightenment, Saccā, and one of the factors present when one develops deep absorption states, jhana, through concentration meditation. Development of equanimity as a profession is essential for the proper development of the other profession as well. For example, while developing the profession of giving Dhamma, one who has not perfected the quality of equanimity may happily give things to those one likes, but would be reluctant to give, or not give at all, to those one dislikes. Perfections in tolerance and equanimity are mutually supportive perfections, as one needs the other to develop, while perfections in renunciation, loving kindness, and tolerance are helpful in the development of the perfection of equanimity. The 10 perfections have been divided into 30 perfections based on the 3 different levels at which they can be accomplished. The first level is ordinary perfection, parami. The second, superior perfection, upaparami. And the third, supreme perfection, paramattha parami. And you remember the 3, ordinary, superior, supreme. And the parami, upaparami, and paramattha parami. The 3 levels of perfection in relation to the perfection of giving Dhamma can be described as follows. Ordinary perfection is donating material things, both inanimate and animate, including one's spouse and children. You remember the story of the Bodhisattva Vasantara. He gave away his wife and his children when a Brahmin comes and asks for. That is, but it's only, even the spouse and children, but only ordinary perfection. Superior perfection is donating one's body parts, body organs. For example, we donate one kidney or one eye when we are still alive, etc. And supreme perfection is donating one's life. We can sacrifice our life for the benefit of others. The same 3 levels apply to all 10 perfections, making a total of 30 perfections. 10 paramis into the 3 levels, it becomes 30 perfections. An aspirant to become a Samma Sambuddha would complete all of the 30 perfections at the 3 levels of ordinary paramis, superior paramis, and supreme parami, while an aspirant to become a Pacceka Buddha would complete 20 paramis at the 2 levels of ordinary parami and superior parami. An aspirant to become an Arahant would complete the 10 paramis at the level of ordinary perfection. According to the Buddhist literature, the length of time over which an aspirant to become a Samma Sambuddha has to accomplish the 30 perfection depends on whether they become a Samma Sambuddha by excelling in wisdom, conviction, or effort. An aspirant to become a Samma Sambuddha by excelling in wisdom, Panyatika Bodhisattva, such as Gautama Buddha, has to accomplish the perfections over a period of 4 incalculable asankhya and 100,000 eons of good cycles, kappa. While an aspirant who excels in devotion, Saccā, Tika Bodhisattva, has to accomplish them over a period of 8 incalculable and 100,000 verse cycles. And an aspiring to become a Sammasambuddha by excelling in effort, Viditadhamma Bodhisattva, such as the future Maitreya Buddha, has to fulfill the perfections over the period of 16 and 100,000 verse cycles. So you see that so the wisdom, the wise said the wisdom is the fastest, and the second is the devotion type, and the last is the effort. So those are the things I would like to share about the 10 paramitas. And now we stop for the question and answer.